back in the room, and it's just me. It's just me. I'm glad that you could have joined me. So let's get into it. Let's go to a place where the distractions are landmarks and the detours are the main roads. Welcome to the summer special edition of ADHDville. It's just me on my own. It's a little bit weird, but we're gonna have to just cope. That's right, we're all just gonna have to cope. As I may have said, this is the pulls off for the next couple of months. He'll be back in September, and we can just do the normal regular podcast then. But I'm going to be keeping you company from here until then. And what I thought I would do is, in ADHDville, we have a newspaper called the ADHDville Gazette. So I thought I would just read from that. So it will be a mix of ADHD news, research, personal stories. There'll be the occasional guest. Hopefully, I was going to do just remember now, I was going to read the horoscope, but that page seems to be missing, so I'll have to do that next week. There's a letters section where I'll just read out the comments, and maybe we'll go on the odd excursion out into ADHDville in some episodes coming up, just to mix it up a bit, just to do something a little bit different. All right, so let's get the newspaper in front of me. There we go. All right, let's see what we've got. Oh yeah. The whole tooth about the ADHDville mayor. That story. Yeah, that story is about me going to the dentist only a couple of days ago. Which is, you know what? It's something that I've spent a lot of time not going to the dentist, and then now that I do see it, I've seen the dentist now like regularly for a few years now, and I like it. I like the concept that I go to a dentist, and that I get taken care of, because it's self-care, which is something that I'm not particularly great at. I try and work on, and then so the dentist is like one of those things that I do take seriously now. But actually being there, I mean, I don't have to tell you. There's the sounds, there's the sensations, there's the drill, there's the picking and the prodding and the holding your mouth open for extended periods of time. It's just really it's not fun. But there's a thought that kind of crept up on me over the years, which was, and it comes from like when I would have to have like when they numb the mouth, they kind of inject you, so there's a needle part, and I found that I didn't mind it. Like it was okay. Like once it happened once or twice, then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it stings a bit, but it's okay. And then I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I don't mind this. And there was some not there was some positive vibes, some nice feelings that I got from knowing that the injection was going to be fine. And I was like, yeah, no, I can do this. I can do this. This is, I am capable. And in fact, the whole dentist thing has been about, I can do this. Like, I'm a person that can go to the dentist and have work done and drills, and it's not fun. And I come out exhausted, but I'm proud of myself that I've stepped up and looked after myself, and there's self-care there, and that's, and I like that. I like that I am that person now, because I wasn't ever that person. So that's a nice little story. And then in another ADHD crazy stupid thing that I'm sure everyone can relate to, I was supposed to go to, I had an eye appointment yesterday, and it popped up on my phone like I wasn't really aware that I had one, but I did put in a reminder on my phone, and it popped up and it said, oh, in half an hour you have an eye appointment. I went, ugh. I went, thank you, past self, for putting that reminder. That's great. I didn't give myself much time, half an hour, but fine. It's only 15 minutes away. I can do this. Jump in the car, go to the eye appointment, arrive. They say, who are you? I say, yeah, it's me. I'm here. And they say, why are you here? I'm here for this. And they're like, I don't know why you're here for this, because there's no appointment for you. I'm like, what? So I'm looking at my phone, trying to find any evidence that they'd sent me anything at all. And there was like a brief text conversation that kind of went, no, we don't have anything on this day, but we've got something on that day or something. So I think what came out of it was that I was about 4 months too early. It wasn't until September, and somehow in my eagerness to kind of be organized, I'd managed to put a reminder for myself for an appointment that I never made. Oh God. Anyway, so those were those two things that were going on in my life this week. One a success and one a misfire. Right, what else we got? All right. Next up, I was looking at some research online, and there was this little interesting article, this research paper in Nature that kind of came out. I think it was only about a month ago or so ago, which was basically, I have to scroll down now. Scroll down. It was about the effects of sleep deprivation on the processing of emotional facial expressions in young adults with and without ADHD. So it was basically saying, if you're sleep deprived, which I know that, quite a lot of people with ADHD suffer with not getting enough sleep, can they... actually, this was from 2021. I'm just looking at it. How does their ADHD affect the processing, of someone else's facial expressions? So whether they're angry or sad, if our brains are tired, does that affect us? But more than just affect us, like, how does it compare to someone else who doesn't? have ADHD, like yes, it will make us harder to process someone's emotions if you don't sleep enough. But are we better or worse or the same as someone who doesn't have ADHD? And there are some kind of interesting key takeaways. One is that ADHD brains are much more vulnerable to sleep loss. So after 25 hours without sleep, the ADHD group of people showed that more, that their attention was a lot less, which is no real surprise. They had less consistent attention, and also that they had more impulsive responses, which is like their inhibition was poorer. So yeah, we struggled more to actually to register someone else's sort of emotional state. And not only that, but if we saw that they were angry, then we were less likely to kind of control that, to kind of like not respond to that, which I thought was kind of, it's one of these things where you kind of think, yeah, well, of course, like if I haven't had enough sleep, then my emotional regulation kind of goes out. But I hadn't really thought about how it affected how we looked at people's faces. Like, so recognizing facial expressions isn't just about sort of emotions. It requires you to like notice the face, maintain attention on it, and then kind of like inhibit any incorrect responses to that face. And this study did suggest that many people with ADHD may begin each day with a reduced cognitive reserve, making them more susceptible to further sleep loss, which is that cycle, right? So that you wake up tired, you have a bad day because you aren't coping that well, so you're even more tired and you find it hard to sleep, and it just kind of builds up more stress and anxiety. But I hadn't really kind of thought about the facial recognition part of people around you. Like, you just can't read them as well. So that's kind of like definitely worth thinking about when, if you get up in the morning and you haven't had your cup of coffee and someone's talking to you, that, that when you're trying to read the expressions on their faces, maybe it's not so easy. There was something else about sleep as well. What was it? I'm just looking. There was something about. All right, here we go. There was some research which was that ADHD symptoms appear to drive sleep problems over time, rather than sleep problems simply causing ADHD symptoms. So there was this study about how genetic, where does this problem from sleep come from? Is it a genetic thing, like part of the ADHD condition or ADHD? Is it a genetic component like ADHD is, or is it a behavioral lifestyle thing? Like, how do those two, how is it all divided up? So if this study found that there was a strong connection between ADHD and poor sleep. Between 20% and 55% of people with ADHD experience significant sleep disturbances. And this large study confirmed the relationship is robust. So yeah, we definitely have problems sleeping. It finds that ADHD meds seem to reduce that connection. So meds can help with your sleep issues if you have them. And then they looked at the genetics of ADHD. They looked at the genetics of sleep and sleep disorders. And there are some shared genetics between the two, but they are surprisingly small. The genetic overlap explained only about 0.3% of the variation. That tells us that while some genes influence both ADHD and sleep, most of the connection is probably due to a brain function, behavior, routines, and environmental factors that shared rather than the shared genes alone. So that means that that it appears like the sleep problems are more on, less, or very much less a genetic thing, and more about a I won't say a lifestyle thing, but it's almost like a sort of all the effects of ADHD and the downsides of it, and all of the stresses, and all of the and it just and how your brain just whirs and just overthinks, and then you can't, and your emotional regulation is all over the place, and that cycle just is not very conducive to sleep. And then it just you just do that over and over and over and over again, and it becomes a long-term problem. But I'm kind of glad that it's not a genetic particularly, because it does kind of make me feel like, right, well, there is hope. It's not like something that you're necessarily stuck with, like it feels like, with with maybe meds helping, and different ways of lifestyle changes that that improvements can be made. So that's kind of a nice thing. That's a good thing. All right, what's next in this paper? Oh yeah, there's a story about my poor Eddie. Eddie's my dog of 16 years who passed away just about a week ago. And it's been very difficult, but obviously I've been looking at it through an ADHD lens, or ADHD lens as well, through my personal lens, just to kind of like, it's interesting going through the grief process, and it's one thing that I've really felt keenly is I think our brains, or how my brain certainly, let me just talk about mine, the way it gets through everyday life and does things in a sort of a coherent way is because things that trigger it to do something. So I'll wake up and then there is a trigger to kind of like get out of bed to feed Eddie and fill up his bowl and do all of that. So I will wake up and all these learned triggers just still exist in my head. So I'll wake up and I'll go, I have to feed Eddie. And then you kind of go, oh yeah, no, I don't. And there is a lot of that throughout my day. And it's surprising how many things that I do that are just like these automatic responses. Like every time I look out into the pool, I scan it just to make sure that Eddie hasn't fallen in. Like I can't actually look at my swimming pool and go, oh, that is a nice swimming pool. It looks really nice. No, I'm scanning for maybe Eddie has fallen in. And I still do that. And I still find that all the time. Like if I think, okay, I need to go out and get milk. My next thought is, oh, do I leave Eddie here or do I take him with? And I go, oh, yeah, no. That's not those questions I don't have to, that's not a thing anymore. So it's interesting to see how my brain works in that way. And I feel like that's where the loss, that's where you feel it. It's that little kind of, and anyone who's lost like a something that they love will know is you have a thought and then you realize, oh, that person, that dog, that cat, that is not there, and then you just have that lurching like feeling. And the other thing that I'm interested in is object permanence, where if something is not there, they don't exist. And I feel that there's two parts to that. So object permanence is the thing, is the experience of if you can't see it, it's not there. So that means that that they don't exist. That so for Eddie, two types. There's one type which is it always feels like that he is there. It's just that he's not right there. He's like in the next room, or he's just behind me somewhere. So there's that. So there's a feeling of like he's there, I just can't see him. And then there's another experience which I'm seeing, which is like so his leash is hanging up where it always was hanging up. And I find that as the days go on, I look at that less. Like I'm not looking at it all the time. Like when I walk into the room, whatever, I would see it. It would just be a thing that I see. It's like, oh, Eddie, oh, he's gone, and there's his leash. And then as the days have gone on, I'm seeing it less. Like it's just becoming part of the background rather than as something that's sharp and in focus and pointed and kind of hurting. It kind of softens and it just kind of goes into the background more. And I think that those two things of feeling like Eddie's always there, plus his stuff just kind of melting into the background, I think that feels like that's part of that journey. So it's an interesting thing to go through, just to kind of see how my brain works in that regard. All right. So I think there's a couple of things there. I think we can go to the letters section in our newspaper. Where are we? Oh yeah. So last week, Paul and I were talking about outrovertism, so that's in that family of like introvert, extrovert, and then there was outrovertism, which is this whole little group. Go and check that out. I'm going to paraphrase Alexandra, who wrote on our YouTube comments, and she says, I truly think I don't fit in any kind of box. I consider myself an introvert who works quite well in certain groups and awfully in others. Group settings drain my energy, but I also find them necessary because they broaden my perspective, even if it's just to reject an idea rather than agree with it. To be honest, I don't know where I fit in, and I'm starting to think I don't have to. I'm very familiar with feeling part of a group, but never quite belonging, and somehow being okay with that. I've also felt more alone than ever while surrounded by people. Very often in my life, I've felt I don't belong anywhere. I'm living in society because of necessity, but not really feeling part of it. I think the combination of ADHD and autism is why I can't completely identify with either ADHD or autism on its own. Neurodiversity doesn't really fit neatly into boxes because it shows up so differently in everyone. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of paraphrased her longer comment. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's... when you are the classic thing is when you meet if you've met a neurodivergent person, you've met one neurodivergent person, that we're all different from each other. We're all like, it's like different flavors of ice cream, and there are millions and millions of slightly different variations, and and that's who we are. So it's odd, but it isn't. I mean, human nature is to try and categorize the world because it seems so random, and there's just like stuff everywhere that we have to kind of start to we like patterns, and we like to group things, so we'll group stuff together, and then we'll end up kind of down this road where we pigeonhole ourselves into like, oh, are you introvert? Are you extrovert? Are you outrovert? And you kind of go, I don't fit quite into any of your boxes particularly. I'm just kind of my own little thing over here. So there is value in grouping people, but it doesn't help if it's too rigid, if you like, oh, you're only this or you're only that, because we're all like shades of all kinds of different things, and that's what makes it all very interesting. All right, well, that brings us up to the half-hour mark, which if you've got this far, thank you for stumbling through this whole thing with me. Next week, we're going to do it all again. I'm going to try and structure this a little bit better. Learn from this week. Get in the comments. Tell me if give me some pointers. Also, I mean, sure. If you've got any questions, now would be a great time. We could do like a question and an answer section. So, get in the comments. Let me know whether I should. I will be carrying on doing this regardless. But thank you for joining me this week. So that really just leaves me over here to say that ADHDville is delivered fresh every Tuesday to all purveyors of fine podcasts. Please subscribe to the pod and rate us most seasonally summer specials. And feel free to correspond at will in the comments. But wait, there's more. If you wish to see our beautiful faces and sally forth to the YouTubes and the TikToks, and you can also pick up a quill and email us at ADHDville@gmail.com. But in the meantime, be fucking kind to yourself.
There, says the mayor. That's that.
And this is the point where I would normally just chat to Paul. It's like a little outro, but it's just me. Well, there we go. That was the first one. That was the most painful one. I will give it some thought, and then we'll come back next week and maybe we'll be a bit tighter. What do you think? Did I survive? Was it okay? It's difficult, isn't it? All right. Thanks for being here.